200,000 years ago, long before cities, nations, or organized religion existed, the earth was home to early humans who had no temples, no churches, no sacred books, and no formal systems of worship, and who survived day by day in forests and open plains where hunger, predators, disease, and harsh weather threatened their existence. They did not gather in buildings or recite written prayers. Instead, they huddled beneath trees and inside caves, constantly alert, knowing that survival depended on awareness and cooperation. Slowly, something began to change in the human mind. When thunder rolled across the sky, lightning split the darkness, and sudden floods reshaped the land without warning. Early humans experienced more than fear. They felt awe mixed with confusion. And from that tension, a question emerged that would echo across history. Is there someone above us? Is there an unseen power behind forces we cannot control? That question began humanity's spiritual journey, a journey that would later produce countless belief systems and rituals. Yet at its core, it was driven by the same desire, to understand whether the universe operates by blind chance or guided intention. 200 to 300,000 years ago, the world looked very different. The air was often dusty, nights were intensely dark, and silence could feel overwhelming. Several human species walked the earth at the same time: Homo habilis, Homo erectus, and the strong Neanderthals, all built for survival in extreme conditions. Among them emerged Homo sapiens, our ancestors, physically weaker than some others, yet possessing something unique, a mind capable of imagination, reflection, and deep questioning. Daily life was demanding. At sunrise, groups left their shelters in search of food, some carrying sharpened stones for hunting, others gathering plants, while elders protected children and shared knowledge. The sun burned during the day, cold settled at night, and darkness brought tension where every distant sound could mean danger. One evening, as a group gathered around a fire, thunder suddenly shook the sky and lightning flashed nearby, lighting up frightened faces for a brief moment. Today we understand lightning as an electrical event, but to them it was not science. It was power, perhaps even intention. A thought entered the human mind. Who commands this force? Who throws fire from the sky? The heavens no longer felt empty. They felt alive. Fear also came from within. A child could fall sick without visible cause, and no spear could defeat an invisible illness. Early humans could fight animals, but not unseen threats. And so, they began to suspect that sickness might be connected to hidden forces. Modern psychology describes agency detection, the instinct to search for intention behind movement or change. When grass moves unexpectedly, the brain assumes something caused it. When lightning strikes, it seeks purpose. This survival instinct helped humans stay alert, but it also encouraged them to interpret natural events as actions of unseen beings. Gradually, the idea formed that behind storms, floods, and disease there might be will. In moments of uncertainty, humanity made its first silent bargain. If the power in the sky can bring destruction, perhaps it can also bring protection. In that exchange between fear and hope, the earliest awareness of God began to take shape. From a Christian perspective, this was not merely imagination born from fear, but the first faint recognition of a real creator whose presence was already visible through creation. Scripture later explains that God's invisible qualities have been evident since the beginning, suggesting that humanity's spiritual awareness reflects something genuine rather than invented. Around 70,000 years ago, what scientists call the cognitive revolution expanded human imagination even further. People began interpreting wind shifts as warnings and floods as anger. Nature seemed alive and responsive. This evolved into animism, the belief that everything has spirit. Yet Christianity later clarified that nature itself is not divine, but creation pointing toward its creator. When humans began burying their dead with care, another realization emerged. Perhaps death was not final. The instinct that something continues beyond the body aligns with the Christian belief that humans possess a soul and that eternity is placed within the human heart. As communities grew, spiritual leaders emerged. Individuals claiming insight into the unseen world through visions or altered states. Cave art depicting symbolic figures reflects humanity's attempt to describe encounters beyond ordinary reality. With the development of agriculture, people settled in one place and built large ritual centers, such as Göbekli Tepe. Worship may have preceded organized civilization. Farming introduced new concerns like rain and harvest, shaping new expressions of devotion. As cities such as Sumer, Babylon, and Egypt formed, religion became structured and institutional. Temples rose, priests organized offerings, and rulers claimed divine authority. Faith became intertwined with governance and law. Then around 2000 BC, Abraham declared that there is not a multitude of gods, but one sovereign creator. This idea reshaped spiritual history and laid foundations for later faith traditions. Christianity later proclaimed that this one God revealed himself personally through Jesus Christ, not as distant power, but as loving presence. Instead of fear alone, grace and relationship became central. These ideas eventually influenced Western civilization and later America, where references to God remain woven into national language and tradition. Yet even in a modern society defined by technology and space exploration, the ancient questions remain unchanged. 200,000 years ago, a fragile human stood beneath the night sky in fear and wonder. Today, satellites orbit Earth and telescopes scan distant galaxies. Yet humanity still asks, where did we come from? Are we alone? What is our purpose? The Christian answer remains steady. Humanity is created intentionally, known personally, and loved deeply by the Creator, whose presence early humans may have sensed in thunder and silence alike. The search that began in ancient forests continues today, not as the invention of God, but as the ongoing discovery of Him. And as long as humanity continues to question and seek meaning, that journey remains unfinished.